Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. So glad you could join us. See you joining us in studio as well. And by the way, coming up here at the bottom of the hour, there are new laws that apparently are going to be put into place. They're being proposed in Wisconsin. And it is if you harass an official, a high school referee, a middle school referee, it could be soccer, it could be basketball, what have you. If you harass an official, you could get hit with a jail time or up to a $10,000 fine under this new proposed Wisconsin bill. And the guy that's going to be joining us at the bottom of the hour is Brian Barlow. He runs the website stoprefabuse.com. So this is an interesting bill, and as a longtime 20-year high school basketball official myself, I agree with this bill, and I have a lot of opinions on it. So we will get to Brian coming up at the bottom of the hour, and just here in a few minutes we'll be joined by former SNL actor and headlining comedian. He's going to be at Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club, Chris Katten. He's going to be joining us here in just a couple minutes as well. All right, yeah. So the guy we have with us on the line right now. God, this guy. I grew up watching this guy on Saturday Night Live. Of course, I say of course because Night at the Roxbury is one of my favorites. Very, very funny movie. He is headlining at the Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club at the Link Promenade. We remember this song, right? Haddaway. How do you forget this song?
That's right.
I feel like bobbing my head right now. We love this guy. Chris Katten joining us right now on the line. Chris, thank you so much for being here. How are you?
You're welcome. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing good.
Great.
So do you ever get sick of that song, Chris? Be honest.
Yes.
Fair enough. I think that's an honest answer. I appreciate that. So, Chris, you've spent some time here in Las Vegas. You performed here before, right? What do you think about the city of Las Vegas and what it has become over the years?
Oh, I think it's fantastic. You know, I haven't gambled much there, so I haven't really lost a lot of money, so I can't complain about that. But you know, I think it's a terrific city, and I love it there.
So as you know, Chris, Jimmy Kimmel grew up here in Las Vegas, and this is a fairly new comedy club that you're going to be performing in. I would imagine you know Jimmy Kimmel. I would imagine you guys, I don't know what type of relationship you guys have, but talk to me a little bit about, Jimmy Kimmel opening a club here in Las Vegas. It's pretty exciting, and the fact that you're going to be performing there this week.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't been there before. He's a friend of mine, and I'm looking forward to being there. I don't know. When did it open? It opened like last year.
Yeah, it was about a year ago. Yep, it was about a year ago,
right?
and Jimmy Kimmel was there. I went there opening week. Jeff Ross performed. There were some great comedians that were there. And I think the fact that Jimmy spent so much time here in Las Vegas and, of course, went to UNLV, it's a special situation for him, of course, to open his own comedy club. It's really nice in there. So I'm really looking forward to checking you out there. I'll actually be seeing you tomorrow night. So for people that have never seen your stand-up before, I've certainly seen videos of you performing, and you're a brilliant comedian. But talk to me a little bit about your act. And do you get into politics at all? Do you talk about stuff going on in the world, or do you stay away from stuff like that?
No, I tend to stay away from that stuff and just do more self-deprecating jokes and more stuff about SNL and characters and stuff like that. But no, I steer away from politics because that's always ever changing.
Mm-hmm. So
it's a little sensitive time.
Yeah, it is. You could say that. It definitely is. So, like in high school, what was Chris Katten like? I mean, were you like the class clown in high school? Were you making fun or making jokes and making people laugh? Was it because I talked to a lot of comedians? They say that they just get a joy out of making other people laugh and just being the entertainer. Were you that kid growing up?
I was. I was the class clown. Thank God. I don't know if I wasn't, I'd be probably pretty bent out of shape as a high schooler. But I was. I was kind of an underdog, and like most comedians, I think. I enjoyed high school. I grew up in a place called Bainbridge Island High School up in Seattle, or near Seattle, in the Puget Sound. But I was definitely the class clown. What about you?
I would say I was the insulter. I was the insulter in chief. I enjoyed insulting everybody and just mocking everybody, maybe because of my own insecurities. I would say that's the kind of person I was in high school. I was this geeky kid that played golf and tennis. You know, I didn't play the manly sports. That's who I was. But then again, I was never on Saturday Night Live, and I was never a celebrity like you. So I think your career has turned out a little better than mine. But and by the way, if you're just joining us, we're speaking with Chris Katten. He is headlining at the Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club. We're going to be giving away a pair of tickets here in just a little bit. Chris, what do you think was your big break growing up? Because obviously you get this SNL gig and your career just skyrockets, right? And of course, Night at the Roxbury, you know, was a huge movie. But, you know, people that I talk to, whether they're in the film industry or comedians, any type of celebrity that's so good at what they do, they had that one big break. What would you pinpoint that was your one big break that got you out there?
Well, I guess it was SNL. I mean, that was probably my big break, you know, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I would think, you know, I saw it in the Groundlings. That's where I got my training. You know, the Groundlings improv group in L.A. So that's where I got trained, and I was there with Will, and you know, so I think the big break was SNL. Really, you know, I was on a show called News Radio. I had a line on that show, but that wasn't really a big break, or a show called Grace Under Fire, but I don't think that was a big break. But I would say SNL was probably the big break for sure.
What was the first time that you can recall that, you know, people were recognizing you in public? How did you react to that? Like being recognized as a celebrity in public, was that weird for you, or did you get used to it over the course of time?
I did get used to it. It was wild. It was in New York, you know, when they started recognizing me by my characters. You know, they're yelling, you know, "Hey, Katten," and pop your head, and you know, do the mango and all that crap. So. You know, it was pretty wild. Just the power of the media was pretty surreal, you know.
No question. Yeah, no question. I have to ask you about this. I know you've been asked about this probably a gazillion times, but it's such a bizarre situation where, you know, you're sitting in a chair on Saturday Night Live and you've complained about it, and, you know, nobody did anything about it, and then all of a sudden you break your neck, which is horrible during a skit. I mean, what do you remember about that situation? And when you sit on chairs now, are you always checking out the chair? I know it's not.
It was. No, I'm not always. Yeah, that's every time I sit on the chair, I'm always making sure I don't break my neck. That would be terrible.
Yeah, that'd be terrible chair PTSD.
It was an accident, and you know, it happened years ago, but it did happen, you know, on the show on SNL, and it was live.
God,
so,
that is
but
crazy.
no, I see comfortably now. It's not like I'm on a flight and I'm like, oh my God, this chair.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Obviously, Chris, you have an extensive resume when it comes to your filmography. I'm partial to Undercover Brother.
Me too.
Back in early 2000s with you and Eddie Griffin. But I have to ask, I mean, other people that you worked with, you know, obviously people are going to connect you with Will Ferrell, obviously with Night of Roxbury, and of course Eddie with that movie. Who were the people that you most enjoyed working with in the film industry and on projects throughout the years?
Oh, I mean, you know, I loved working with Chappelle on Undercover Brother, and you know, I did a small movie called Tanner Hall with Brie Larson. I thought that was really fun with Rooney Mara and Amy Sedaris played my wife. And there's a slew. I mean, there's a lot of shows, but those in particular, I think, you know, were really fun. Of course.
Yeah, Brie Larson, of course. Yeah, Brie Larson, you know, has just absolutely, you know, skyrocketed as well too. It has to be, you know, very satisfying for you to see what she's been able to do with her career.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, she's great. She's a real talent.
Chris,
won an Oscar. So,
have you
sorry, what was that?
Have you thought of directing or doing anything like that, like your own movies, like getting behind the camera?
Yeah. Well, I have I'm starting to get into producing and writing. Of course, writing. I'm writing all the time. But yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I haven't. You know, I'm still doing stand-up and doing stuff in front of the camera right now. But I'm not that. I think that'd be great. A lot of fun. I enjoy doing that very much. I'd have a great time doing that.
Chris, growing up, was there one comedian that you modeled yourself after? You know, for me growing up, I used to listen to Howard Stern on the radio, and for me, that's why I got into radio. For you, like, was there that one comedian, or maybe there's a few that you said, if not for him or her, I'm not sure I'd be doing this for a living?
Well, I think Eddie Murphy was my hero. I mean, I really loved watching Eddie Murphy. He's the reason why I wanted to be on SNL. When he did that Black History Month sketch, and he said, "So I made me want to get on SNL."
Sure.
I thought that was pretty tremendous, you know. And I think Mike Myers, his characters, I think, and Dana Carvey too. You know, a mix of those three.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, of course, being alum of SNL, and you brought this up as far as like the politics angle of it. But I gotta believe, Chris, there's got to be some secret, desire in you to be able to be on the cast maybe right now in 2019, given that political climate that we're in right now, where you've got Donald Trump as president of the United States, and how much intrigue that brings not only to just the to media in America, but to that show specifically, Saturday Night Live, and dealing with the Trump administration.
Yes. What was the question?
Yeah, it has to be. Do you secret? Here's the question.
It was kind of a question turned into a statement.
Well, I can tell him what the question. Here's the question. Do you secretly wish that you were still on Saturday Night Live at this time in 2019, where you could actually address what is going on from a political standpoint?
Wait, Chris. Before you answer the question,
about politics, though.
Chris, before you answer the question, I just want to say our co-host Chris Wynn, he is the most long-winded radio host ever.
Oh my God.
Well, I ask long questions. Yes, I do.
It's like a 3-minute question.
Yeah, it takes him 75 words to ask a 7-word question.
Anyway, I'm sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll break it down. Do you wish, Chris, that you were on SNL now in 2019, given Trump as president?
I would love to be on, but not. No, I'm fine not being on, but not because of the president.
Yeah,
that's not why I would want to be on. No, because the cast is good. That's why I would want to be on. But
Nice.
I'm fine not being on.
Yeah. Well, Chris, listen, man, I really do appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming on. I am really looking forward to seeing your show tomorrow night. I've never seen your stand-up in person. I cannot wait to see it tomorrow night. And no better place, by the way, than the Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club. I think you're really going to love it out there.
I'm looking forward to it.
But before I let you go, I just got to ask, you mentioned you don't really gamble. Do you have any favorite hangouts that you like to go to in Las Vegas so people can stalk you over the course? Yeah.
Jeez, I don't know. That's a hard one. I like the Hard Rock, but we're not promoting that.
No, we're not. We're promoting the Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club. That is true. Well, Chris, hey, listen, man, you're a legend.
Very wise.
You're a legend in this business, my friend, and we really do appreciate.
Thank you. That's very nice of you to say that.
No problem, and we really do appreciate you taking some time to join us. Look forward to your show tomorrow night. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, there you go.
Thanks a lot, Chris.
That is Chris Katten. By the way, I think my favorite point in that interview was when Chris had one of his long-winded questions, and he's
I had to go through an explanation of why I make that roundabout.
Are we giving away
trip.
tickets?
Yes, we're going to do that right now. Okay, so here's what we're going to do.
Don't say number 5. Either.
No. We're going to do caller number 10. You are going to win a pair of tickets to see Chris Katten. I think you'll have an opportunity to see them either Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Caller number 10 right now, you get to see Chris Katten, stand-up comic, SNL, Night at the Roxbury, so many great movies.
Undercover Brother.
That's right. That's
you
a
always
great.
keep missing that one.
Yeah, that's true.
I need you to watch that.
I do.
Do you think that's racist, campaign?
It's just like they keep talking about the same one.
Is it a little racist?
Before he answers that question, let me just give out the number. Caller number 10 right now, 702-257-5396. You are going to score yourself a pair of tickets to see Chris Katten at the Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club right here in Las Vegas this week. Again, caller number 10 right now, 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Chris is a very, very funny guy.
Very funny.
Yes, so caller number 10 right now.
Undercover Brother.
Yes.
He was very
and I
funny.
forgot that Dave Chappelle was in that movie. I was thinking, obviously,
no,
of
but
Eddie
it was
Griffin.
like one of the greatest scenes ever when he was dancing.
I'm partial to Mango. I'm partial to SNL when Will Ferrell's going to take. He's the hip store owner, and I'm taking we're going to Milan. I think that's really
Let
funny.
me ask you seriously. Have you ever watched Undercover Brother? Yeah, serious.
I actually have not watched.
That's what I'm going to say. So I don't want you to know. I want you to watch it, then come back and tell me.
But from what I have watched, that's what I'm partial to.
By the way, you also have a chance to, if you look at the bald, pasty white boy, he will be at the show tomorrow night as well. That is me. Chris, you will be joining us tomorrow night at the show, as well as our producer, Jason
So that's why
Stein.
I thought you were talking about me there when you were giving a description.
Hold on a minute. See, now it's racist. What about me?
You didn't say you wanted to go see the show.
Why wouldn't I want to go?
Well, you didn't ask. You have to ask.
Why
Chris
would I have
asked
to
me.
ask?
It's a star of Undercover Brother. Why wouldn't Campaign want to show up for that?
Campaign, would you like to see the show with us tomorrow night?
No, I have other things to do.
Oh, see, exactly.
No, I'm going to go. I'm going to go.
It's the principle of not asking him, though.
Yeah,
It's the principalities.
He's not important enough, I guess. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Campaign. You are important enough. You're a big part of the show, and you are absolutely invited to check out Chris Katten with us tomorrow night if you would like to go. But you don't. But you don't get a +1 because you don't get a +1. Is that okay? Are you all right with that?
I don't get a +1.
No, you don't get a plus.
Are
just
you bringing somebody?
No. Well, I'm bringing Chris. He's a part of the
you're
show.
bringing- and Jason, right?
Yeah, but that's not my plus one.
Yeah,
I'm not bringing
yeah.
a female.
Let's establish something. I'm not going with Brian.
Yeah,
okay?
I'm not going to go
He's
anywhere.
not taking me.
I'm not going anywhere.
I happen to be going to the actual same show as Brian. I just wanted to establish that here.
I understand
No,
that.
Shap likes to do that every once in a while.
So we're going to be sitting at a table.
Can I just say this?
There's going to be 5
Can I
dudes
just
sitting
say
at a
this?
table.
Can I just-
No, I'm not
sausage
doing
party.
that.
It's
I'm
pretty
not
clearly
doing that.
a lefty and buffoon Brian date.
Listen, if
Yeah,
you
that's what's
put
going
a wig on Chris, you put a dress on him. He's that's all I'm saying. You never know. All right, you never know.
I'm just not going. I'm not going with 5 guys. It's not a sausage.
Are you
party.
homophobic? What's your
No,
problem?
I'm just because I'm
You're
out here.
homophobic. No, you're
I'm gonna
homophobic.
no, I'm not.
You have a problem.
You don't roll. Hey,
Trust me, I have no
campaign. You don't
fear.
roll with your boys out. You don't go out and about with your guy, with your male
females.
friends.
All right,
There's
guys,
some
we got to
female.
take a break.
You ever see Wild Hogs?
I got to take a break. My thanks to Chris Katten. Boy, it's amazing when we give something up for free.
Hey, you know, I'll go
the
tomorrow
gazillion
as long
callers
as we
that
can
call
all
in.
color coordinate.
But
Take a break.
All right, here's what we're going to do. When we come back, a new law that is being proposed in Wisconsin. If you harass an official or a referee, you could go to jail. We're going to talk about coming up next with our very special guest, Brian Barlow with StopRefAbuse.com. Take a quick break. Be back right after this. You're listening to The Vegas Take on the all-new 101.5 FM 720 AM KDWN. Also, check us out streaming on YouTube at The Vegas Take page and TheVegasTake.com.